If you've never experienced sleep paralysis before, you should consider yourself part of the lucky majority. Sleep paralysis is the phenomenon of being conscious but unable to move while still visually being in bed. It occurs when a person passes between stages of wakefulness and sleep. During these transitions, you may be unable to move or speak for a few seconds up to a few minutes. Some people may also feel pressure or a sense of choking. However, what's even more terrifying are the claims of seeing shadow figures enter the dark bedrooms, which are supposed hallucinations that have been deemed as sleep paralysis demons. Many have been horrified by these experiences due to the realistic nature of what they see in their room at night. Whether what they're seeing is real or all in their head, here is 3 true terrifying sleep paralysis encounters. I never even knew what sleep paralysis was before that night. The same usual Friday night after work that my friends and I would play games on PlayStation late into the AM, eventually going to bed around 2 or 3. However, this night, everyone decided to stop playing around 11 p.m. Usually once I turn off my console, I get into bed and can fall asleep quickly. But due to it being a few hours earlier than usual, I had a harder time drifting to sleep. My body felt tired, but my mind unfortunately was still wide awake. After trying multiple different positions to fall asleep, I ended up on my back facing the television in my room. With my eyes closed for about 10 minutes, I gave up and decided to just watch the TV in front of me. I tried to reach for the remote. I couldn't. In fact, I couldn't do anything. The room seemed a lot darker than before as well. Suddenly I heard a malicious laugh come from directly in front of my bed. I was terrified and tried to scream, but nothing came out. It seemed like the harder I tried to struggle, the more it became difficult to breathe as I felt a pressure on my chest. I tried to relax, hoping everything would go back to normal. But it seems like it was only the beginning of my forced nightmare when suddenly my television in front of me flashed on, creating a dim glow to my room. I could feel the presence in the room. I couldn't understand my inability to move, but whatever it was had to be the cause. My fears confirmed. I fully believed in death as it revealed itself. Tall, dark, red eyes, and a menacing grin stood perfectly square as the light from the television behind it casted its silhouette. Still being restrained, I watched helpless as the malicious figure crawled forward up to my face and wrapped its shadow-like hands around my throat. The pressure became 10 times as worse. Feeling like I was about to die, everything stops at once, starting with my TV blinking off, resuming the room to complete darkness. Being able to regain control of my body, I lost my mind for a few minutes. Being completely unaware of this horribly realistic nightmare, I had fully believed in the supernatural, causing a mental breakdown that woke up my roommate, who was able to guide me back to reality. Knowing now what it was I experienced, I pray every day to never go through it again. After listening to several others' experiences with sleep paralysis, I know my story is undoubtedly one of the worst. I'm no stranger to the phenomenon known as sleep paralysis. At first, it was a pretty freaky experience, being frozen still in the darkness alone for up to 10 minutes at a time. But after experiencing the same scenario every few months, with no figures or hallucinations to make the experience worse, I had grown rather familiar with the eerie and dark episodes at night. My most recent paralysis, however, was much different. I had gone to bed at my usual time around midnight. I had a lot on my mind, but my day at work left my body desperate for a night of rest. Before I knew it, I began to drift away, until I felt my body lock into place. I understood the routine. My eyes scanned the room, all dark, nothing to see as usual. I began to wait it out with my eyes closed. After waiting for at least 5 minutes, a harder than usual pressure came over my body, and I started hearing my older brother whispering to me, "Hey, wake up." My eyes shot open to see him standing at my door. Confused and extremely anxious, my heart started pounding. I did something I had never tried before and fought my hardest to move again. Struggling to move, I watched him walk over and kneel down towards the side of my face as he told me,
"Everything's going to be fine. I'm here."
I relaxed and closed my eyes again. After 30 seconds of peace, I felt the pressure leave my body. I sat upward in my bed, still breathing hard. I needed to find my brother. I got up and walked down the hall, calling out to him as I opened the door to his room. When I entered his room, I cried while staring at his empty bed and storage containers. He died 2 years ago. It was an exhausting week at my 9 to 5, trying to make rent for the one-bedroom apartment I live alone in. Coming off my last 12-hour shift before the weekend, the only thing I could think about was my bed and sleeping for as long as I needed to recharge. I walked into my bedroom. Closing the door behind me, I jumped into bed and fell asleep almost immediately. When I awoke, I was confused to see that the room remained dark, as the morning sun was nowhere to be seen. Considering how tired I was, I thought it had been odd that I would wake up in the middle of the night, only sleeping for what felt like maybe 2 hours or so. Curious, I tried to check the time on my cell phone that was still in my pocket. Although I thought about taking the phone out, the instinctive action didn't follow. Thinking my arm was just sore from work, I tried again and felt nothing. I mean nothing. It wasn't my body that felt too heavy to move, but rather that a force was pushing down on me, making it impossible to move a muscle. My confusion led to fear as I realized what was happening to me. I had heard about this before too many times to not recognize the signs. Sleep paralysis had finally come for me, as it had a few of my friends and family members. I tried my best to stay calm and not think about what others have claimed to seen during this nightmare. I tried the counting technique and started down from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As a dark shadow slowly stepped into my room, I knew I had failed. It was terrifying. I watched helplessly at the faceless figure walk up to the foot of my bed. It was a long, horrifying staring contest that lasted at least 5 minutes. The figure began to move again forward. Getting close to the side of my bed was too much. Not caring if it was real or not, I broke into a silent scream I could only hear in my thoughts. Its long, dark hand reached over my face, covering my eyes. I felt myself blink and could see my room again. The figure, gone from my peripheral vision. I could see the faint blue of the sky, signaling it was at least 6 a.m. I could feel my arms again and could reach for my phone that read 6:07 a.m. Relieved to have made it through my experience, I couldn't believe it had all just been fake. The shadow figure, all just a bad hallucination brought on by sleep deprivation. Then I saw my bedroom door. Wide open, like in the sleep paralysis. I shut it before getting into bed like I do every night. That I knew was real. The line of reality had been destroyed as I desperately thought of an explanation. Had any part of what I'd seen in the night been real? To this day, I don't know what to believe, but now I keep the door locked just in case and take my sleep schedule much more serious, in hopes to never be paid another visit from whatever was in my room that night. I don't really know if this experience was sleep paralysis or a hallucination. I remember falling asleep around 10-11 p.m. and waking up to something being thrown at me. Whatever that was thrown at me didn't feel rough, but I still felt it. The size of the object was as small as a pebble. I was about to get up until I heard someone whispering in my ear, saying,
"This isn't real."
My heart got out of control. I couldn't move at all, nor open my eyes. Since I was laying on my side, I could hear my heart beating really fast, and it felt like it was going to explode from how loud it sounded and how fast it was beating. I woke up after a few seconds and looked around my room, but no one was there. I still wonder about who or what was behind me that night.